Welcome to the Wisdom That Breathes channel. Across all our platforms, we try to share wisdom which is relevant and accessible to everyone. But on this particular platform, we go deeper into some of the ancient principles found within the scriptures. If you find some of the terminology difficult or inaccessible, then go over to our Keshava Swami YouTube channel where you'll be able to find other content which is perhaps more relatable. Thank you and enjoy the wisdom that breathes. Hare Krishna, thank you everyone for coming. Today we're discussing Brhad-Bhagavatamrita. We're continuing our discussion. So in the first day we talked about the Srimad Bhagavatam and we talked about why it's such a beautiful and special literature that Srila Prabhupada brought. Once when Prabhupada was preparing to come to America, someone said, "Oh, Swamiji, you're going to America." And Srila Prabhupada, he looked back and he said, no, the Bhagavatam is going to America. I'm just carrying it. So that was very nice because Srila Prabhupada had that deep faith, Tadvag Visharago Janataga Viplavo, that the Bhagavatam is going to create the revolution and that he would be successful because he was carrying the Bhagavatam. So Jiva Goswami is known as the Tattva Acharya. Different teachers are known for different things. So Haridas Thakur is called what type of Acharya? Namacharya. Rupa Goswami is what type of Acharya? Rasa Acharya. And Jiva Goswami is known as the Tattva Acharya, so he's the one who is the most prolific writer, the most prolific Gaudiya philosopher, and what he does in the Satsandarbhas is he basically codifies all of Mahaprabhu's philosophy. And right in the beginning of the Sandarbhas, the first Sandarbha is known as Tattva Sandarbha, and Tattva means truth, that which stands true in all times, places and circumstances. And right at the beginning of Tattva Sandarbha, what Jiva Goswami does is he establishes that Srimad Bhagavatam is the foremost of pramanas or evidence. So anything you want to establish, if you establish it from Bhagavatam, then it can never be questioned or challenged. Then what is Brhad-Bhagavatamrita? Brhad-Bhagavatamrita is the conversation between Uttara and Parikshit, which took place at the end after the Bhagavatam was discussed. And essentially it's the distillation of the essential truths of the Bhagavatam that Parikshit revealed to his mother before he left the world. And this was recorded or recited by Jaimini to Janamejaya after he recited the Mahabharata to him. And then later on what happened is that Sanatan Goswami documented it in trance. And essentially the Brhad-Bhagavatamrita is based on two main questions. And the first one is the one that we will be discussing, or the one that we are discussing, which is Narad Muni's journey to find out who was the greatest recipient of Krishna's mercy. It's important to know where mercy comes from and who got the mercy, and very importantly, how they got the mercy, because basically we are mercy cases. We need mercy. And we have to be eager for the mercy. One time there were some ducks and Srila Prabhupada was feeding some prasad, and one duck, he was giving one duck more. So devotee said, "Srila Prabhupada, why are you giving more to that duck?" Prabhupada said, "Because it's quacking the loudest." The one that wants the mercy, the one that seeks the mercy, the one that is desirous, they get the mercy. Mercy is available, but one must be eager. So Narad Muni went on the journey to find out who got the most mercy from Krishna. And the first place he came to was Prayag. Yes, he came to the king of all holy places, and there he saw a Brahmana worshipping his Shaligram Shila. From the Brahmana we learned the first secret to mercy. What is that? Anyone remember? Bhakti. Bhakti is the most important thing. He was at Prayag. In Prayag all types of spiritualists come But the one that caught the notice, caught the attention of Narad Muni was the Brahmana, because he had devotion. His worship, he may not have been engaged in austerities or study or complicated rituals, but he worshipped with devotion and he served the Vaishnavas with devotion. And therefore, yatha bhaktir mamorjita, that kind of bhakti conquers Krishna. So we learned this from the Prayag Brahmana. But then when Narad Muni came and glorified him, he said, no, I didn't get the most mercy from Krishna. You got it wrong. If you want to find out who got more mercy than me, then where do you have to go? To the southern king. Yes, go to the southern king. And what's so special about the southern king? Why is he getting more mercy? Because he's having Nava Nitya Mahotsava. He's having a festival every single day. Every single day is a festival for him. He's dedicated, completely focused on giving himself every day to Krishna. That determination, that consistency, that discipline. Once I was having a conversation with Sachinandan Maharaj on the phone, and Sachinandan Maharaj, every time we have a conversation with him, even if it's about something managerial, he'll always start with a spiritual message. So I called him and then he said, okay, yeah, before we start discussing, let me just give you a message. So I said, yes, please, Maharaj. And then he just said one thing to me. He said, the pain of discipline is uncomfortable, but the pain of regret is unbearable. So he said, it's difficult to be disciplined. It's difficult to every single day rise to the occasion and give yourself again to Krishna. It's uncomfortable, it's difficult, it's not always easy. Some days you go out on the street and you think, not today, I can't do it today. It's very difficult, but it's uncomfortable. But if you don't apply yourself every single day, then we will not achieve our devotional spiritual potential. And then later on in our life, we may have regrets. Oh no, why did I not apply myself properly? Isn't it? Like Narottam in his infinite humility is lamenting, Manusha janama paya Radha Krishna na bhajiya janiya shunya vishakainu. Actually, Yamuna Mataji says once Srila Prabhupada was in his room and he was alone and he was playing his harmonium. And so she looked in. It was only Prabhupada in the room with his harmonium and he had a lamp. It was late in the evening. So she thought, shall I go in? But she thought, no. So she was just watching from outside and Srila Prabhupada was singing this song by Narottam Das Thakur. And Srila Prabhupada sang the first line, Manusha Janamajal Radha Krishna na bhajiya. I attained this human form of life, but I did not worship Radha and Krishna. I have knowingly drunk poison. So Prabhupada sung the line once. So she was listening. And then Prabhupada sang it again. And then he sang it again. And then he sang it again, that one line. And she said, Prabhupada sung that one line 20 times, must have been. And later on, Prabhupada said actually this was his favorite song of Narottam Das Thakur. Hari Hari Bifale Janama Gonainu. I have not utilized my life. So yes, the pain of regret is unbearable. The pain of discipline is difficult, but the pain of regret is unbearable. Actually, I was in New Mayapur and there was one disciple of Srila Prabhupada there and he was obviously there in Srila Prabhupada's time, and then he said that there for some time he had gone away from the devotees. And then he started telling me why he came back, and what he said is he had a dream of Srila Prabhupada. And he said, in the dream, Prabhupada came to me and he said, Prabhupada just said one thing to me. And Prabhupada said, if you do not come back in the future, you will regret it very much. He just said that one line. And he woke up the next day and he thought, I better go back. He said that's how he came back to the devotees. So yes, the everyday principle to try. So Narad Muni began glorifying the king. You got the most mercy. Look, you have all this resource, all these people. But the king said, no. You think I've got a big resource? There's someone who has bigger. You think I've got a big kingdom? Someone has bigger. You think I rule for a long time? There's someone who rules for an entire life of Manu. Who's that? Indra. So then Narad Muni went to Amaravati. And what was the secret that we learned from Indra? Offer the best to Krishna. Indra has been given so much facility, so much opulence, and Indra is using that for Krishna. And therefore Narad Muni began glorifying him, but then Indra said, no, I became proud. We are constantly in fear here in the heavenly planets that someone will take over our position. Isn't it? Indra is constantly fearful. Therefore, even when Prithu was doing so many sacrifices, Indra was fearful that someone will usurp my position. So Indra says, no, I am also weak. I am subject to human weakness, although I am a Devata. Indra said, there's someone else who got more mercy than me. You think I have a big domain? This person rules over the entire creation. You think I have access to the Lord? This person also has access to the Lord. The Mahapurush is in his own abode. This person is so special that Krishna directly taught this person from within the heart. And this person, they have the most important service in the entire universe. They have been blessed in many, many ways by Krishna. You think I live for a long time? I live for one Manu. But this person, there are 14 Manus in there one day. And they live for many, many days. And who is that person they should go to? Narad Muni should go to? Lord Brahma. He said, Brahma got more mercy than me. And one reason, and the main reason why Brahma got so much mercy is because Brahma does an incredible service for Krishna. Brahma takes incredible responsibility for Krishna. Brahma has perhaps the most difficult service in the entire universe, which is to create the universe and then to manage the universe. Anyone who's done any kind of management knows how much of a complex, anxiety-filled task it can be. Anyone who's done that knows how much of a thankless task it is to take the responsibility sometimes. But the secret of how Brahma got so much mercy from Krishna is that Brahma takes so much responsibility for Krishna. So one who wants to get the mercy, they have to try to take some responsibility for Krishna. They may not necessarily become a leader or a manager, you can also do that. But they may just take responsibility for some part of Srila Prabhupada's movement. And they take that this part of Srila Prabhupada's movement is something that I have to try to develop, that I have to try to preserve, that I have to ensure goes on for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. And we have our conceptions of what is big, what is small, but in Krishna's eyes, anything done with bhakti is extremely significant. Like for example, at the manor, many of you may know we had Mother Kalangana for many years. And her responsibility for Srila Prabhupada's movement was to make Mangalarti sweets for Krishna. And they were the best Mangalarti sweets, in my opinion. I'm sure there are many wonderful Mangalarti sweet makers. But she was making these incredible sweets for Krishna. And every single sweet was like hand painted. She spent like 10 minutes, 15 minutes on each sweet hand painting it. She had a whole team and it was her life mission. Oftentimes I would go out and do preaching programs and we would sometimes come back very late, 12, 1 o'clock. And when we would be coming back to the ashram to take rest, she would be waking up because she would chant all her rounds before making the sweets, which had to be made obviously before Mangalarti. And she did that for so many years. She used to have this apron, and on the apron it said, "Krishna's little helper." And so that was very nice. She would walk through the temple like that. So take responsibility. Here's someone who just said, no, that Krishna must receive his sweets. So whatever it may be, big or small, to take some responsibility for Srila Prabhupada's movement, that is very, very beautiful. And Brahma took a big responsibility. Management is also not easy. Brahma faced all the challenges that managers face. Actually, if you look at his life, it's very interesting. Like, for example, Brahma, he was given a task by Krishna to create the universe. But there was nothing in the universe. And what's the first instruction he got from Krishna? Tapa, tapa, tapa. Do austerity. So anyone who wants to lead anything, know that this is the beginning of it all. You have to do austerity. You have to, you're gonna have to face hardships. Brahma later on, when he was trying to populate the universe, then his first sons, the 4 Kumaras, were there, isn't it? And then what did he ask the 4 Kumaras to do? He said, like, Krishna has given me a task to populate this universe, so you're my sons, and I've been directly instructed by Krishna, so, you can help me out. So can you, procreate in the universe? And they just looked at Brahma and they said, no can do. We are going to stay celibate for our whole life. And Brahma's thinking, but this is the instruction from Krishna. I'm giving you this instruction. I'm your father. Don't doubt my ability. My entire body is made of intelligence. I could not be misguiding you. But even then, they didn't listen to him. So lesson number 2 in management is, if people don't listen to you, don't worry. It's in parampara. I mean, they didn't even listen to Brahma. Lesson number 3 in Brahma's management career is that Brahma, he was trying to procreate. It didn't work with the Kumaras. Then later on, when he got angry because it didn't work with the Kumaras, who came from the middle of his eyebrows? Lord Shiva. And then Lord Shiva started procreating. That was not good news for the universe when Shiva started procreating. He said, no, stop. And then he had 10 other sons born of his mind, but even they could not procreate. This is another lesson in management, that it's not going to happen first time. Your first idea of how it's going to work never works. You have to just keep going and trying different things. It's not like, oh, we tried, it didn't work, okay, what to do? No, what to do is you try again, because even Brahma, he didn't get it right first time. And the amazing thing is, even when Brahma did get it right, and he created the universe with 14 planetary systems and 8.4 million species of life that works in perfect ecosystem, then even then Brahma got criticized, because certain individuals came to him and said, Brahma, you did a terrible job. Why? Because you created eyes which have eyelids. And these eyelids flicker for one moment, and therefore we cannot see Krishna for one moment. You made a big blunder. I think we could forgive Brahma for that one. But out of the ecstasy of the gopis, they criticize Brahma like this. So naturally, there will always be some deficiency when we manage, and someone may well point it out. Don't take it personally. Even Brahma had to be humbled in that way. So like this, taking responsibility is not easy. To take the anxiety for Krishna is not easy. It's easier to live a comfortable life. It's easier to live a peaceful life. It's easier to live a life in which no one will criticize you or give you any trouble. But in Krishna consciousness, we're not looking for peace. We're looking for service. Because when we take responsibility, we get mercy. And so Brahma is reminding us, take responsibility, get the mercy. So Narad Muni comes to Brahma Loka and he starts glorifying Brahma. Oh, you were directly instructed by Krishna. You are the greatest recipient of Krishna's mercy. Who else can say that? Dene Brahma Rida Ya Adikavaye Mu Yanti Yat Surayaha. You are directly instructed by Krishna in your own heart. And then you emanated from your mouths all the Vedas. You're worshipping the Lord, the Mahapurush here in your own abode. And you've done so much amazing service. You are clearly the one who got the most mercy from Krishna. And what does Brahma say? No, it was not me. I didn't get them. How can you say I got the mercy? Who sent you here? Indra. Indra sent you here. Oh my God, that's a joke. Why did Indra send you here? Well, Indra said you got the most mercy from Krishna. Brahma looked at Narad Muni and he said, both me and Indra made mistakes. But my mistake was even worse than Indra's. Because Indra sent the Samvartak cloud, and what I did in Vrindavan was I separated Krishna from all his cowherd friends. But what you don't understand, Narad Muni, is that it's funny Indra should send you here because my mistake was even worse than Indra's. Because at least in Indra's mistake, all the Brajabasis were brought together for 7 days and they had beautiful pastimes. But when I made the mistake of kidnapping the cowherd boys, then Krishna was separated from them for that time, and therefore he was not happy with me. Therefore, even if you read in the Bhagavatam, after Indra's mistake, Krishna forgives him very quickly. But after Brahma's mistake, it takes like a chapter of prayers before Krishna is not so happy with Brahma. So Brahma says, no, I did not get the mercy. I committed mistakes. I even became overcome by passion. I even became attracted to my own daughter. That's what, my consciousness is so weak. And how can you say I got the most mercy? Because even I am fallible. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Abrahma bhuvana loka punar avartina Arjuna. That from the highest planet in the material world, Brahma Loka, down to the lowest planet, all are places of repeated birth and death. So someone may think, oh, I'm on the topmost planet, but I'm still in the material world. I'm still subjected to all of these things. If you want to know really who got the mercy from Krishna, then you need to go to Shastra. Because Shastra says very clearly, there's one person who is considered the greatest devotee of the Lord. This person is so great that they have a sampradaya which they have initiated. This person is so great that they give the mercy to even the most fallen and outcast individuals. And this person is so great that they performed an act. This person is so great that they performed an act which saved the entire universe and all the living entities within it from potential destruction. So if you want to know who got the mercy, you have to go to this personality. And who is this personality? Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, he is the one who is very, very kind to all living entities. And therefore Narad Muni came to the abode of Lord Shiva, and as he came to the abode of Lord Shiva, on the recommendation of Brahma, he started singing a verse. Nimnaganam yatha ganga devanam achyuto yatha Vaishnavanam yatha shambhu purananam idam tatha. He entered Lord Shiva's abode chanting this verse, Nimna Ganam Yatha Ganga. Of all rivers, Ganga is foremost. Devanam Achyuto Yatha. Of all the devas, of all the gods, Achyuta, Krishna is the foremost. Purananam Midam Tata. Of all the Puranas, Srimad Bhagavatam is the foremost. And Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Of all the Vaishnavas, Shiva is the foremost. So he came to Shiva and he was glorifying him, saying, you got the most mercy from Krishna. You are so dear to Krishna. Don't try to deny it. Everywhere I've gone, they're all denying it. But you cannot deny it because it's said in the scripture that you are the foremost devotee of Krishna. So Narad Muni was glorifying him like this. And Narad Muni said, you got the mercy from Krishna. Brahma told me you got the mercy from Krishna because he took responsibility for the creation. But you took responsibility for people. You wanted to give mercy to people. You want to take care of the people. You want to free the people from suffering. And therefore, your secret to mercy is that you're very, very compassionate to the people. And then another verse is quoted, because what did Lord Shiva do when the milk ocean was being churned and the halahal poison came out? Then what did Lord Shiva do? He drank it. He drank that poison, which was said to be so powerful that it could basically destroy the living entities within the universe. So what did Lord Shiva do? He ingested that poison and he kept it in his throat. And what happened to his throat? It became bluish, and therefore Lord Shiva got the name Nilakant, the one who has a bluish throat. And in the Bhagavatam there's a very, very famous verse glorifying Lord Shiva for this act. Tapyante lokatapena sadhavo prayasojana paramaradhanam tadhi purushasya khilatmanaha. Tapyante lokatapena. In order to relieve the suffering of the people in this world, the great souls voluntarily take on suffering themselves. Param aradhanam tadhi. The Bhagavatam says there is no higher method of worshipping the Lord than this. If you want to know the highest way to worship the Lord, the Bhagavatam says the highest way to worship the Lord, tapyante lokatapena, is to take on suffering to relieve the suffering of others. If you want to know how great a devotee is, then ask yourself the question, how much hardship have they taken on to relieve the hardships of others? Param aradhanam tadhi. There's no higher type of worship than that, the Bhagavatam says. So Lord Shiva, his secret to mercy is that he's constantly giving the mercy to others. Mercy is the beautiful commodity in this world that the more you give it to others, the more you receive it yourself. And so we find all the great souls are constantly thinking how to give mercy to others. And it can be in small or big ways, again, according to who you are, according to your capacity. Help others in their spiritual journey. One may say, but I'm not a big preacher, I'm not a big leader, how can I give mercy like these people give to others? You can just give your mercy to someone by showing them some kindness. You can give your mercy to someone by giving them your attention. You can give your mercy to someone by just hearing them when they want to talk and they have a problem. That kind of kindness, that kind of concern is very, very pleasing to Krishna, because Krishna wants to see that all the living entities get that opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. So how can we become part of that to help others on that journey? So Lord Shiva, he doesn't make any discrimination. He gives everyone an opportunity. This is also another beautiful quality of Lord Shiva, that oftentimes we are looking at people and we are passing a judgment very, very quickly. This person is a good person, that person is not a good person, this person is open, that person is closed, this person is potential, that person is a lost cause. And we very quickly pass judgments on people. But Lord Shiva, he was going everywhere, to the ghosts, to the hobgoblins, to the places where no one else would go to try to give mercy. And no, let me even try with them, because maybe, just maybe, they'll be open to it. So Shiva is so kind. Ashutosh, very easily pleased. And so when Narad Muni comes, you can see here in the picture, when Narad Muni comes to give Lord Shiva the mercy, and then Lord Shiva covers his ears and he says, no, it wasn't me, I didn't get the mercy. Don't glorify me like this. How can you glorify me? I made so many mistakes. Lord Shiva says, me, I'm in the mode of ignorance. I'm constantly associating with the lower modes of nature. How can you say I got the mercy from Krishna? Lord Shiva says, no, you say I give a lot of mercy out, but sometimes in the process of giving mercy out, I make mistakes. Like, for example, I gave the mercy, so-called mercy, to Vrikasura, when he wanted the boon that whoever's head I touch, it will break to 1,000 pieces. And when I gave him that boon, then later on, I got in trouble because of that. I give mercy, I give boons to the wrong people. Lord Shiva says, how can you say I got the most mercy from Krishna when I did something unspeakable in the universe? Out of all the terrible things that someone can do in the universe, I did the worst thing. And what did I do? I preached Mayavad philosophy. Because the Shastra says, Mayavadam asachastram prachanam bodhamuchyate mayeva vihitam devi kalo brahmana murtina. Lord Shiva says to his consort Parvati, kalo brahmana murtina. In the Kali Yuga, I'm going to take the Brahma Murti. I'm going to take the form of a Brahmana. And on the order of the Lord, what can I do? Mayavadam asachastram. I'm going to have to come to the material world as Shankaracharya and preach Mayavad. So Mayavadi bhashya shunile hoya sarvanash. Anyone who hears Mayavad philosophy, everything is finished. Mayavadi Krishna aparadi. He said that the Mayavadi is an offender to Krishna. And can you believe it? I'm the one who started the whole thing. And you're saying I got the most mercy from Krishna. Are you out of your mind? I did not get the mercy from Krishna. Then Narad Muni said to Lord Shiva, no, but I quoted the Shastra. I quoted the Shastra and it says you are the greatest devotee of Krishna. And then Shiva looks at Narad Muni and says, no, let me quote you another Shastra. And I'll guide you to the person who actually got the most mercy from Krishna. Because the Bhagavatam also says this person is the greatest recipient of Krishna's mercy. This person is known as the Bhakta Shiromani, the crest jewel of all Vaishnavas. This person was so incredible that the Lord personally came to save him. And not just that, the Lord came to save him, and in order to save him, the Lord came in the most unique way. The Lord came at the most unique time, and the Lord took the most unique form to save him, which was never seen in the history of this universe before. This person was so great that when the Lord decided to liberate this devotee, he said to this devotee that your devotion is so powerful that it won't just lead to your liberation, but 21 generations of your family will be liberated by your devotion. And this devotee is so great that when he was offered any boon by Krishna, the only boon he asked for is that may all the material desires in my heart be extinguished by your mercy. And so if you want to know who got the most mercy from Krishna, then it's not me. You have to go to this person. And who is this person? Prahlad. And therefore, Narad Muni then goes to Prahlad. And he comes to Prahlad, Sutala Loka, and he starts glorifying Prahlad. You got the most mercy, I heard it from Lord Shiva, and he's a great devotee as well, and he said you got the mercy, and he said your mercy was that you are always relying on Krishna. You are always seeing Krishna. You have deep faith that Krishna will protect you. Rakshishyati divishvasho. This is the sign of someone who is completely surrendered, that they have the complete faith, unbreakable faith that Krishna will protect. So Prahlad had this incredible faith in Krishna. He was seeing Krishna everywhere. In the Sri Vaishnava commentaries on the Bhagavatam is describing Prahlad's pastime, and they're questioning Prahlad. And they're questioning Prahlad that when they put you in a pit of snakes, were you not scared? And Prahlad said, look, my father is Vishnu. And Anantashesh is the king of all snakes. And Anantashesh is the bedstead of Vishnu. So he's the servant of Vishnu. And all the snakes are servants of Anantashesh. So if you throw me in a pit where there are the servants of my father, do you think they're going to cause me any harm? That's wow, what a vision. He said, but Prahlad, when they tried to feed you poison, were you not scared? He said, look, the demigods and demons churned the milk ocean. And who came out of the milk ocean? Lakshmi. And then who came out of the ocean? Poison. That means poison and Lakshmi are brother and sister. And therefore, if Vishnu is my father, that means Lakshmi is my mother, and that means the poison is my uncle. So do you think if I have contact with my uncle, he's going to kill me? They said, but Prahlad, were you not scared when you were put in fire? Prahlad said, don't you know? Yagyavai, Vishnu. The fire, the Yagya Kund, represents what? The mouth of Vishnu. So do you think if you put me in my father's mouth, he's going to eat me? They realize, my God, Prahlad is seeing Krishna everywhere. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pasyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachame na pranashyati. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. If one has that vision by which they can see Krishna everywhere, perceive Krishna's hand behind everything, then they can have complete reliance on Krishna, and then there's no fearfulness. They don't try to control situations. They're ready to walk with Krishna's plans happily, lovingly, without any reservation. And so Narad Muni goes to Prahlad and he says, you got the most mercy from Krishna. And of course, like everyone else, Prahlad says, no, you got it wrong. It was not me. I did not get the most mercy from Krishna. No, but you were remembering Krishna all the time. Shri Vishnu Shravane Parikshita Bhavet Vaya Shaki Kirtane Prahlada Shmarane Tadangri Bhajane Lakshmi Pritu Pujane. The Shastra is mentioning that there are different persons who perfected every single process. And Prahlada Shmarane, Prahlad was always remembering. You perfected it. You're always remembering the Lord. That's the goal of life. Always remember Krishna and Never forget him. Smartavya satatam vishmur vishmartavya najatu chit. You can't trick me. The goal of life is to always remember Krishna. And you are always remembering Krishna. So you can't trick me and say you are not the greatest devotee of Krishna. Prahlad says, no, there's more to the story. Because there's something greater than even remembering Krishna. What can be greater than remembering Krishna, do you think? Serving Krishna. I just remembered Krishna. But there is another great devotee who is always serving Krishna. There is another devotee who is so absorbed in Seva Bhav that he can't think of anything else. There is another devotee who went to all kinds of trouble to serve his worshipable Lord, such that when he opens his heart, all you can see is the image of the Lord instilled within his heart. That devotee is the perfection of dasya. That perfection is always, that devotee is always serving. You see, the Lord, I'm actually not a good devotee, Prahlad said, because I engage the Lord in my service. I engage the Lord in my service. By my remembrance, the Lord had to come and save me. But this devotee is so great, he went to save the Lord's consort. He went to fulfill the mission of the Lord. And therefore that devotee is known throughout the three worlds as the emblem of service. And anyone who serves in that way gets the most mercy. Therefore, if you want to know who got the most mercy, you have to go to Hanuman. Yes. Therefore, he sent him to Hanuman. So Hanuman had such an incredible service attitude. It's said in one commentary that when Hanuman went to find Sita Devi, and he found out where Sita Devi was, and then he came back to report to Ram that he had found Sita. Then as Lord Ram was coming, he was thinking, how will I report this news to Lord Ram? So I don't know how it works in Sanskrit, but this is how it's described in English. He said, I was thinking how to break the news to Ram that I found Sita. So he thought, I'll tell him, I found Sita. But as soon as he had that thought, he thought to himself, no, I cannot say that, because then I'm putting I first. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sharvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. That one bewildered by false ego thinks, I am the doer, I did it, I achieved it. So therefore, Hanuman had that thought. He said, no, I cannot say, I found Sita. I must go at the end. So then he thought, okay, what I'll tell Lord Ram is, Sita found I. That solves the problem. But then he had a thought in his mind. He thought, but if I say Sita found I, then when I say Sita, for an extra moment, there will be an anxiety in Lord Ram that what is he going to say? Sita dead, Sita alive, Sita found. So Hanuman thought, I don't want to put the Lord in one extra moment of anxiety more than is required. So I can't say Sita found I. So when Lord Ram came, then Hanuman looked Lord Ram in the eyes and said, found Sita I. Which in one sense made no sense in English, but conveys the path of someone who's actually a servant, someone who actually serves with a very deep seva bhava, service attitude. So Therefore, Narad Muni began glorifying Lord Hanuman, saying, "You serve Lord Ram in such a beautiful way. You are clearly the one who got the most mercy from Krishna." And then Hanuman says, "No, no, no." There's more to the story. And so maybe we'll discuss that tomorrow. So like this, you see, Narad Muni is going. It's not that any of these devotees are not great devotees. All of them are great devotees. And the nature of a devotee is always to see the good qualities in others. And therefore, from all of them we learn a lesson. And in this way, Narad Muni is picking up the secrets. It's amazing. Narad Muni, Prahlad is Narad Muni's disciple, isn't it? When Prahlad was in the womb of his mother, Kayadu, then it was Narad Muni who was instructing her. And that's how Prahlad became such a great devotee. But Narad Muni is so humble, he's like, I'm ready to learn from my own disciple. Because he also got so much mercy from Krishna. So therefore we should see that we can learn from anyone and everyone. And in this way, Narad Muni is drawing all the lessons for us to learn. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So if there are any questions or comments or any clarifications anyone would like to ask, then we have a few minutes. If anyone comments. Yes, Balashoko.
Do we have any more information about why Sankaracharya, why Shiva has to take that role?
Yes. Of course, it's Lord Shiva's infinite humility that he's saying that, of course, he did it as a service. So why did he take that role? Why did the Lord want Lord Shiva to come as Shankaracharya and teach Mayavad? So this is a whole history. It said that when Krishna came to the universe, then yada yada hi dharmasya, he established religion. But then it said, Krishna svadham upagate dharma jnana dibishaha. When Krishna goes back to his own abode, then dharma begins to decline. So after Krishna left the planet and Kali Yuga began, then what happened is that there was a degradation in the world. Dharma became covered. And it became so much covered to the extent that people were taking the ritualistic parts of the Vedas, Tregunya Vishaya Veda, the parts of the Vedas that deal with the three modes and sense enjoyment. They were taking that as the foremost. And one part of that part of the Vedas is all about animal sacrifices and basically how to enjoy and how to exploit material nature for your own enjoyment. And therefore people were misusing those parts of the Vedas and indiscriminately killing animals. And therefore the Lord came as Buddha in order to rectify that situation, because there could never be spiritual upliftment again in the universe unless until people follow basic moral principles. And so the Buddha came, Keshava Drita Buddha Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare. The Lord came as Buddha. And as Buddha, the Lord taught the philosophy of ahimsa. This is called Gnostic philosophy. Gnostic philosophy means an atheistic philosophy. But it was for a higher purpose, because he said, forget the Vedas. Because people are misusing the Vedas. So he said, forget the Vedas altogether. Forget God. Just follow moral principles. Be a good person. Follow, be non-violent. Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path. But then later on, when the Lord wanted to reinstate theism, then first what he had to do is instruct Lord Shiva to come to the universe as Shankaracharya. Because what is Mayavad? Prachanam Bodham Uchyate. It's a covered form of Buddhism. And so Buddhism had spread all over India because of the influence of Emperor Ashoka. So Buddhism had spread to all corners of India, and practically belief in the Vedas had severely declined. And so the Lord instructed Lord Shiva to come as Shankaracharya, because what he would teach is something that looked like Mayavad, but which was actually a covered form of Buddhism that they would be able to accept, but at the same time which would reinstate the Vedas as a spiritual authority. And so the purpose of Mayavad philosophy is that although in one sense the philosophy is impersonal, the good thing about Mayavad is that it reinstated faith in the Vedas, Shastra Praman. And from there, then the Vaishnava Acharyas, Ramanuja comes in the 11th century. Then Madhvacharya comes in the 13th century, 13th, 14th, yeah. And then after that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and others come. So Shankaracharya coming to this world had a very specific role to play, to basically reinstate the Vedas as authority. It's like sometimes when you're walking and a path is blocked, then what you have to do is you have to sidestep, or you have to kind of move back and take a different track. So sometimes it feels like Mayavad is a step back. In one sense it is. Actually, Srila Prabhupada said it's better to be an atheist than a Mayavadi. But then you may say, why did Mayavad come after atheism? Because sometimes you have to take a step back to take a step forward. So although it is worse than atheism, it did the good thing of reinstating the Vedas, which gives the opportunity for personalism. Does that make sense?